fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
All right, welcome back to Wind Tunnel TV. Tonight, it's the Alive Church Xfinity Series here with RGR Racing, and we got a special event here, the Marjorie Coutu Memorial 175. Of course, Claus Williams and his family have lost Claus's mother unexpectedly, so our hearts go out to the friends and family, no doubt. And we race here tonight in memorial of Marjorie. And I hope it's going to be a great show. I think it will be. It is one of my favorite tracks here at Indianapolis. Let's take a look at our race info here. And you get 4 corners. Of course, they look identical. There never are, so there's going to be little variance here, but I like these guys who get into the corners. They lift early, they get in low and hook these corners. We'll see how these guys handle it here, but it's a very interesting track, especially for pitting. You know, you can pit without going a lap down, which, you know, changes the whole dynamic around a caution. That could come into play, so it'll be interesting to see how the strategy plays out. Can't wait to see how it all plays out. Let's quickly update our point situation here as we get I get a little lucky here before I show you. It sounds like we are joined here by Mr. Wesley Outland. How we doing tonight, Wesley?
I'm doing well, man. How are you doing? Thanks again, as always, for letting me come in and join you guys for the RGR Racing League on Wind Tunnel TV. And, man, we're going to have some fun here tonight. So if you can share the screen, I think we're racing Indianapolis, right? You got to love the world's greatest race course, and this 2.5 miles is going to be a fun place tonight for the race.
Yeah, going to be a great one, Wesley. Like I was saying to the folks, I mean, I absolutely love this track. Of course, this is a memorial race for Marjorie Coutu.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
The mother of Claus Williams unexpectedly passed away a couple weeks ago. So some heavy hearts out there, but we race in her honor here this evening. And right now we take a quick look at the points. Jorge Leal has got a lead. These are unofficial, of course. Bryce Reiner has moved into second. You got Bear Williams and Ratliff, your top 5. Jackson, Travis, Ripka, Gilly, and Bruce in the top 10. I mean, the points situation is getting a little separated here, Wesley, but we've really got 2 contenders, Leal and Reiner, at this point.
And, I mean, isn't the season, like, literally coming to the home stretch as well? I mean, didn't we talk about that? Like, you're down to, like, what, 3 races left before we literally decide the crown of the championship or move into the playoffs? So, definitely, this will be a crucial event here tonight at Indianapolis.
It will, and I mean, you know, for this crucial event, too, we look in on the 01 Hardee's machine. How about this? One of our broadcast meets takes to the track Baron Labosco out there tonight. Barely got to look at him there, but good to see Baron out there.
So we're going through preliminary laps right now. Actually, the warm-up is still going on. Now we're about to go into race mode, and obviously we'll see what goes down here. What's our race analysis, Mr. Dean, for tonight's race at Indy?
Well, I don't know about any race analysis. We did our little preview there. You know, it's a long race, right? 70 laps around Indy is going to be tough out here. I think pit strategy going to be very interesting. You know, this is one of the few places, Wesley, where, you know, you can pit without losing a lap. So that really changes or can change some strategy, you know, and a timely caution or untimely caution can be a little more interesting than it otherwise is. So that's going to be one of the big plays. But let's get into tonight's starting grid. We got TJ Rogers in the 72 on the point with a time of 54.064. Your points leader, Jorge Leal, on the outside of row number 1. Starting in row number 2, it's Bryce Reiner. He is right in the thick of this championship, along with Scott Olson, the potato head paints man himself. Lance Ripka, Berta Ripka Designs will start the number 52 in 5th place. It's Edward Kane in 6th place here tonight, another great sponsor of this league. Paul K. Travis and Darren Bruce will start in row number 4. Brian Helm and Jason Spear will be in row 5. It's Bear, the fellow Canuck here of mine, and Claus Williams, who we talked about a little bit. We'll see what he can do from the 12th place starting position. Look a little further back in the field here. You got Rachel Hunt, Jason Ratliff, Corey Buskirk, Jason Brantley, Todd Gilly, Reggie Evans, Nick Barise, Bernard Person, Baron Labosco, George Dibble, and Graham Connolly. It's a nice 25-car field here tonight, Wesley.
Yeah, getting ready again for the coverage of the excitement of what is the RGR. Of course, the RGR Racing League. And again, thanks to a live church for being the sponsor of the Xfinity series. As preliminary laps are about to wind down here for this event, ready to watch and see what goes on. 70 laps here around Indianapolis. It's just about at 200 miles. We'll see how it all shakes down as we see these guys work their way into the short chute, into the west end of the speedway here in turn number 3 and 4. That's only with a fan zone, and the dirt track at Indianapolis Motor Speedway is nestled in the infield. What a big infield in Indy. A lot of people don't realize it, but that is a big monster of a place. I've been there in real life. If you've never been there in real life, you need to put it in your bucket list plans. Dean, it is something special, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. You fit your whole neighborhood in that infield, probably.
Yeah.
But we got something going on here. Bryce Reiner pulling off. I'm not sure if that's intentional. He's back in line. My goodness, that was scary. Pace car off the track. We're ready to go racing here in the Marjorie Coutu Memorial 175. Down and away.
70 laps. Remember, you got to pace yourself because this is a long event. Just over 200 miles here. 2.5 miles is the track length. They'll settle it off into turn number 1 and 2. Into the tunnel turn for the whole shot. It's Lance Ripka, the Toyota, up in front. It's Bruce and Kane right there in tow. They're going to battle side by side for a moment. Travis watches on as they work the back straightaway.
TJ Rogers out to the lead right now. Darren Bruce looking to make a move here on the inside of Ripka. That battle for 5th position.
Look at everybody closing in into 3 and 4. Off of that short chute now, heading to the 4th turn. Darren Bruce now up to the top 5. Ripka watching on. What happened to Lance Ripka, right? I mean, he was on the pole. He led him to the green on the front row. Now he's back to 6th as they come to the line. With TJ Rogers up in front. His Chevrolet leads him down into turn number 1.
Yeah, I hate to correct you, but Ripka started 5th tonight, so he's lost 1 spot. TJ Rogers was on the point. He still is. Leal, Reiner, and Olson, all where they started, top 4 running there. Looks like a battle heating up between Reiner and Olson right now. Olson keeps peeking. He wants to move ahead.
Yeah, I think I was referring to Bryce Reiner as right now. Remember what he did last week. It was a fun race at Richmond. We'll see what Reiner can do here again. Because remember, strategically last Sunday night, he was one of those guys that was up in front. Really quiet race at Richmond last Sunday. Now here at a totally different track here at Indianapolis. Rogers in the lead. Leal, it's Olson now trying to make a move. Bruce is also pulling out of line as they work their way back into turn number 1.
Yeah, Darren Bruce down on the inside. Looks like Olson going to let him on through here. I'm not so sure, though. He's pulling back on the outside. Bruce does complete that pass. So everybody lined up now, and we kind of settle in a little bit. This is a tricky track because we try to get too much too early You'll burn them up here. These corners very tricky. And what I keep looking for, and I've always said to people, is whoever lifts earlier and gets in shallower, they're going to be the ones to watch later in the race. Some guy, I was watching Jason Jackson in practice and thought he might have something here tonight. He's back in 12th place right now, but he's working on the inside of Jason Spear.
Little dimensions on what is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where they're at right now. Track is at 2.5 miles, 4.023 kilometer oval track. The turns, 4 corners, quarter mile in length, between 9 to 12 degrees of banking. The straightaways are 2.5/8 of a mile, 3,300 foot straightaways connecting from 2 to 3 and 4 to 1. The short chute, or the short straightaway that they're literally going through right now, or just came onto the backstretch, is 2/8 mile, 660 foot short straightaways connecting, and then a 50 feet of straightaway length, 60 feet in the corners. This is a fast, wide racetrack. You're brave enough, you can get 4 and 5 wide around here. I just don't know if it's a good idea to do it here, Dean.
Yeah, probably not. Maybe in an Indy car. I'm not so sure in these cars whether they can do it or not, but I'll tell you, Darren Bruce is on the move. He's picked up 4 spots. Like I said, I don't know if he's going to hurt him or not, but he is pushing this thing to the max early. TJ Rogers continues to lead here, and it's very interesting with Bruce moving up, but you got Leal, your points leader, in second. Reiner trying to run him down in the points, sitting in 4th. It looks like we might have another Leal-Reiner battle, even if it's not for the win, Wesley. I mean, it's important spots.
It is, man. Yeah, you're exactly right. As we get closer to the end of the season, we mentioned how every lap, every race, every position gained or lost is so important in that battle. As right now, Rogers leads them. There he is. And that flaming number 72 behind him, Jorge Leal. Jorge Leal was the Darlington winner 2 weeks ago. And right now, he sets his sights in second of that Black Rifle Coffee Company, number 51. Funny, you mentioned Black Rifle Coffee on his car. I was able to spend some time with my dad earlier today, Dean, and my dad drinks Black Rifle Coffee. And he was telling me about he had to go to the store and go get some more, and he likes it. So, yeah, shameless plug for Jorge Leal.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we love it. Plug away. We love these Black Rifle. I've been hearing a lot about it. I haven't seen it up here. I'm sure I could probably get it online. I might have to give it a try.
Yes, it is. Very, very different coffee. And I'm not a coffee man, but definitely I've drank a cup or so of that.
Yeah, it's
right
booze,
now, Rogers.
Booze only in the booth for Wesley.
Do what now?
Booze only.
No, hell no. No. Pepsi only in the booth for Wesley. Is there Pepsi in Canada?
That's what all the vodka drinkers or the gin drinkers say. It's only Pepsi. I'm just kidding, Wesley.
Oh, goodness.
Scott Olsen battling there with Lance Ripka. So Ripka's starting to show some speed here. He'd lost a spot. Now he makes a move down to the inside. Can he clear Olsen here? Olsen gives way, I believe. Very tricky spot there. He's got several cars underneath him.
Dean, I'm not the redneck announcer. I'll just say that much.
I'm sorry. Did we just we tease about booths on a regular basis here? So there's no harm here meant.
Back straight away, TJ Rogers up in front. I've had some Pabst Blue Ribbon before. Okay,
there you go.
You're in Canada. You can't go wrong with some PBR. So. Darren Bruce and Leal. Reiner watching on. I think this is going to be a fun battle here, Dean, as we watch this now between the 2nd through 4th behind the leader, Rogers. That's that battle heating up here off the corner.
Yeah, I mean, these top 4 kind of separated. You can see Ripka. Ripka's got clear of that group. He's already starting to run these guys down, so they'll join in here. And I think you'll see more of that, right? Like, this track's so big. I mean, if you blow a corner, got a whole straightaway to think about it, Wesley, and your car's going to be slow for that whole time. So we're going to see spaced out cars. And what's going to be key is the whole race, the way you thought out your tire season, the way you think about your pit strategy. Do I want a short pit? Do I want a long pit? All these things are going to come into play as we go along. And I like these guys on the bottom. Right there you seen Helm, the 46. He's rocking a little bit of a lower entry and a lower line, and he's starting to come forward here.
Right now, down the front straightaway, putting 8 laps on the board. Quickly knocking off laps quickly here. And right now, Rogers still in the front spot of that Chevrolet Wrangler. Wrangler flaming
Wesley,
number
you see
72.
that damage on the rear of the 72?
I do. When did that happen?
That must have been in corner 1 right off the start. I mean, I have no idea, but he's got damage there that almost makes it look like the old Twisted Sister.
Yeah. Unbelievable that he's able to continue to race the way he is right now also, for sure.
Yep, I mean, apparently no harm, no foul on the 72 there, but that is a tough way to start with damage on the back. Bruce, of course, is up 5 spots. He's moved into second place. You see a wiggle off the corner there. The car is loose under throttle. Leal in third, Reiner right behind him battling, and we got Olsen coming in. Olsen already might be calling it a night here at Indianapolis.
Rogers, Bruce, Leal, Reiner, Ripka, top 5 as pit stops are beginning, or somebody might be falling out of the race. As a couple of cars, Scott Olsen and Corey Buskirk. I don't even think he started the race, or at least one lap down as he came down on pit road. So a couple of cars already having some issues as they work down the back straightaway here at Indianapolis, with Rogers still in front, and they're knocking off these laps quickly here. Back to the short chute there, Dean.
Yeah, you got Jason Spear here. Jason Ratliff down on the inside of that Smith & Wesson car. And I'm telling you, he has been fast. Jason Ratliff is a guy we keep talking about week after week. Does not qualify well, but he comes up and he shows speed almost each and every week. Of course, Rachel Hunt right in the mix there. Brantley, the Toad Man in this group as well. All led by Claus Williams. Can Claus get up here and get a podium here tonight?
Ready to see what Claus can do. And obviously, this memorial event for a family member of the Claus Williams family, how special could it be if he's able to win the Marjorie Coutu Memorial? Obviously, paying homage and respect to Bean.
Yeah, that's right. Bean, the old family nickname. I guess she got that nickname as a child, and they just carried forward. Didn't get any real story on that. I think it's a bit of mystery how Bean occurred there, but maybe if anybody does know the actual story, they can throw it in the comments. But Claus with the heavy heart, currently in 12th right now. TJ Rogers leading Darren Bruce and George Leal. Bryce Reiner sitting there lurking in 4th. Ripka 5th. It's Edward Kane having a nice run here this evening. The 21 machine up into 6th. Paul K. Travis and Brian Helm right there. Abear in 9th, and Jason Jackson up 3 spots now into 10th. And I told you I liked his line, so maybe it is working for him. I hate to be made a liar, honestly.
Yes, sir. We see them working their way in the corner. Rogers and that Wrangler machine still up in front. Now, Dean, a live church, is that a church based in Canada that you go to, or is it a sponsor?
Well, I don't believe it's in Canada. No, this is a sponsor of RGR Racing. And
Okay,
down there in the States. Their motto, live fully alive, and I love that motto, trying to inspire people to live each day with, Verber, or whatever the word is I'm looking. Verber, I think it is. Wesley.
Yeah.
So I'm
looking at their social media page. It's Alive Church International Incorporated, if you'd like to know more details. So they definitely have a big following from what I was looking at. So good to have them being a part of the Xfinity series for iRacing. And that's really cool, man, that they could be able to, we're not going to obviously have a church service here, but you can still promote the word with doing iRacing as well to promote them and put out something in the iRacing community.
For me, to each their own, but I love the church. I love the message of God, and and it seems to me like the Live Church has got positive messages. as we see the Alive Church machine of Paul K. Travis right there, currently in 7th position.
It's a beautiful looking race car, by the way, as well. Laps winding into the 15 laps completed mark with Rogers, Leal, Reiner, Bruce, Repka still the top 5. Here's another beautiful look at the Fox machine, the Fox Shocks, Toyota. Brian Helm into the top 10.
We go on board with Brian Helm. Just take a little ride here through these corners, and you'll see, like, I like him to start braking now. He's going to go a little deeper and a little higher, cut it down there. It's going to be harder on those tires. That high to low, Wesley, you're going to grind them, and on exit, it's going to be tougher on throttle to keep that machine under control. Those guys can get down under that white line before those rumble strips. Oh, I know! Paul K into the wall, trouble, and they're fighting each other here. My goodness. Paul K pulls it back up in front of Helm.
Gravis at Helm, Toyota, Chevrolet, and flip-flop them. Getting a little aggressive there for just a moment. Now they kind of settle themselves back in and get back rolling one more time here.
Rogers still leading this thing, so Rogers opened up almost a second gap. It has stabilized. He's got those 2 long-run guys now, 2nd and 3rd, as Bruce has slipped back to 4th after his hard charge. So watch out, because Leal and Reiner are picked up right where they left off.
Good hard racing
Wesley,
just a moment ago there. Yeah, go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
You race guys out here, and for whatever reason, you will get hooked with a certain race car driver, and you will see him for the next 5, 6 races in a row. You can't shake him. You're going to have to deal with it. It's just the way it is. It's part of nature, I guess.
Yeah, very interesting for sure. As we watch all this happening again down in the corner, is somehow you got to, shake off the cobwebs of that battle we just saw and get right back racing again. And I like that. That's what Helm and Travis did. They had their little moment, but then they back away. And you see they got plenty of room between them. You're still in the top 10. No harm, no foul. Try to reset, go again. There's still a long way to go in this race, right, Dean? I mean, you're still looking at 55 laps to go here at Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah, 55 long laps, 2.5-mile track out here. So, yeah, there's a ton of time here. There's no reason to panic. But the only thing I would say is they go so clean and green here at RGR. Caution is not something you can calculate into it. So you're going to have to make up your time on the track and on pit road. It's going to be highly interesting to see when pit stops happen here. Don't have fuel mileage numbers tonight, but I'm expecting somewhere around 25 is probably the max, Wesley.
So we're thinking maybe one pit, maybe 2 pit stops. Is that what we're thinking? Maybe 2 pit stops in this race?
2. I don't think you can do 35. I really don't think you can stretch it to 1. So 2-stop race here. We'll look at these guys to try and do somewhere between 20 and 25 on that first run. Closer to the 25 mark for sure.
By the way, don't forget to check out Wind Tunnel TV on the world of social media. Of course, you can find them on Facebook and Wind Tunnel TV on YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe. And obviously, again, tonight, the RGR Live Church Xfinity Series in Indianapolis. What a great race this is. Obviously, pay homage and respects to the Williams family from the memory of Marjorie Coutu, mother of Claus Williams. And obviously, we saw Jorge Leal win Darlington. We've seen a great race at Richmond last week. And as we mentioned, coming to the end of the season here for this series.
Right now, Claus Williams taking a peek on Greg Ratliff. So Claus starting to heat up. A little further back, you got Brantley working underneath the Hunt here. The Toad Man right there as well. And fellow broadcasting mate, Baron Lebosco still hanging around in 18th.
Nice smooth run there. Now, does he drive as good as you do in being a broadcaster as well?
Listen, Baron Lebosco used to be one of the best Xfinity racers on the service. But, through years of not doing it and being on the road as he normally is, apparently not tonight, he took this chance to race, but he is out of practice. So, you know, he's not quite the same as he used to be. So, but he was one hell of a race car driver, and he knows his stuff.
Gotcha. I got you. Well, right now, everybody works their way down the back straightaway here at the virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And already TJ Rogers up in front, holding on to that top spot, leading the way. Nobody, honestly, has been able to make a charge at him. Jorge Leal has been within distance, but he can't get around him, if you will, as they come to the line, Dean.
No, but interesting, as you suspect, Leal and Reiner are closing up on him here as we hit lap 20 of 70. This is about what you'd expect. Rogers setting a torrid pace. Leal and Reiner kind of save their stuff. You see here, Reiner closing right in as these two in front of him battle. And I love how he got down there low early. Should get a good run here by Reiner. Rogers loose. Battle for the lead commencing.
Ready to go after it. As we're approaching lap 20, it's now become a three-car battle as they funnel into the short chute in three.
Leal is taking over the lead. So
looky
Jorge
here
Leal on the point, Wesley. TJ now in a little bit of trouble. That car going away on him. This is where Bryce Reiner cannot waste any time. He has got to get by Rogers before Leal sets sail.
I think I spoke a little too soon, Dean. I think I spoke a little too soon because out of nowhere now we see the strength of the Jorge Leal machine.
Now Reiner makes it by TJ Rogers. So 1-2 is going to be Leal and Reiner. Your points battle right up front now. All of a sudden Rogers just can't get a handle on the car. He's got to find it. Bruce is coming. Ripka's coming. And I mean, I think Ripka, who faded early, only to come back later in this run, he's got a plan here tonight. Watch out for Buckshot.
Reiner and Rogers only back to third. He's still within a second of these guys. And you got to wonder, though, is it strategy, though, Dean, right? You know, we mentioned pit road. The next handful of laps, pit road might be entering. And here's another thing. Who's going to go for an undercut? Maybe Rogers might do that. He might be falling off to get ready to come down to the pit lane and go right back to the lead again when everyone else pits.
I mean, he might be, but I doubt it. The distance that Leal has set apart from the 72. And don't forget about that damage. I mean, that could be affecting TJ Rogers in third. It's been a heck of a run by the 72 so far, so let's not take anything away from him here. He's been great in third, but you're right. And Leal chases it down the track. No big problem there, I guess, but holy cow. But yeah, Rogers, he's got options, right? The short pit's always on the table here at Indy.
Yes, sir. And take it, and you could take advantage of a place like this and go for an undercut or a short pit. And because this track is so massive.
When I like to do it, Wesley, is say I'm Ripka and I feel I'm faster than Bruce and Rogers. Well, let's get on pit road as Brian Helm comes in right now to start pit road action. So Helm is in. It looks like Brantley's going to follow him in as well. So those two will start the cycle here on lap 23.
And my day is made because the Ravens got beat. I'm glad for the Bills. Congratulations, Bills. Yes. As right now, we see pit stops. Oh, boy. Here comes bobbing. We call this, well, in the world of IndyCar open wheel racing, they call it snaking, if you will, around the racetrack. Slicing inside and outside, and that kind of cuts the draft off, but right now, you just see Jorge Leal pulling away from everybody right now. Dean Doucette, he's taking advantage of it. Not only did he get around Rogers, he's bypassed everyone as they get ready to come off of turn 4.
Yeah, I mean, Leal's just a tough competitor. You give him the clean track, the clean air, and the lead, it's going to be real tough to run him down. And watch for him to try and stay out on the track a little longer than some. So Reiner is going to stay out as well. And they're going to play cat and mouse here, and it's going to be like, I don't want to pit before him. I want to pit a lap after him. And both guys are going to be thinking that. The only thing is, who will undercut him? I mean, we're on lap 24. We're not seeing other people come in. We're already above what it would take. Like completion of lap 24, that's as much as you need for these cycles, as Ripka makes a move on Bruce, so put Ripka up to 4th now.
Leal, Reiner, Rogers, Ripka, Bruce, top 5. Kane, Travis, Jackson. Of course, it is not Herbert, it is Hebert, as well as Abert, and Ratcliffe.
We still haven't got the Canadian lingo down.
Abert. I'm sorry. I thought it was Abert.
Remember, there's a bear. You know, this old Canadian way of talking. Hey, a bear. Anyway, Mike out in the comments again tonight. I love it. He's got himself a cigar and a shot. Okay, Mike, get it into you.
Yeah, man. However you're enjoying our coverage, thank you for joining us tonight.
You better believe it. We love everybody being here. And what I love to see, Edward Kane up here as Brantley goes by on that fresh rubber. Edward Kane sitting in 6th. This is a solid run, and we've seen this. Kane has been getting better and better, as a lot of these guys in the league have been. And now, you know, he's not lingering around 15th. He's up here in the top 10 and looking pretty racy here tonight.
Jorge Leal in the lead. What a job for him as he sells it off at a turn number 1. The interval is now 1.4 seconds and still getting around this place. Flying. They've not opened up pit road yet. Only Brian Helm has came down pit road. Maybe Jason Brantley also pitted, but they're all the way in the back. The front runner have not pitted yet.
Yeah, it's very interesting here. Someone should be coming in here. I mean, you look back to this Paul K. Travis, Jason Jackson, James Hebert. One of these 3 maybe should be coming in. I don't know, but they love the overcut in this league. It is so hard to convince one of them to come in for the undercut.
The undercut, the short pit, other names used to describe what we're seeing here.
Brantley trying to make his way through traffic on that fresh rubber. I mean, there is a huge difference here at Indy when you come in to get that rubber. You see him sling it into the corner. Our leader, Leal, I mean, their lap times, we're talking like 0.04 of a second's difference between Leal and Reiner. Last time I looked, 1/100th of a second. So these guys very evenly matched. The only thing I would say is, even though it's very small, it's Leal who's winning those small fractions.
As right now, you're still seeing all these other drivers working their way around the racetrack. There's Rogers, how good his car was. Remember the Wrangler 72? And Dean, you mentioned some damage earlier in the car. Do you think that finally maybe the damage on that number 72 Chevrolet finally got the best of him and it finally caused him to kind of fall off a little bit here down the stretch of the race, sir?
Well, it's definitely possible, right? You get some damage. I'll give you a for instance. Maybe it loosens the car up a touch, but maybe for the first 10, 15 laps, that's a good thing. It's helping you. And then later in the run, the tires are going away, and now that looseness is really hurting you. Something like that could be happening with TJ. As he moves down, and Buckshot Ripka moves up high, so Lance Ripka now moves up into 3rd place. Watch out for the 52. He's no stranger to victory lane. I believe a 2-time champion right there, Wesley.
Beautiful looking race car. And that Spartan Racing entry number 52, yellow and black colors right there. Rogers behind him. So is Darren Bruce. There's a guy that we know from the NASRA Blanchard's Towing Xfinity Series, Dina Series G racing as well. As now we see Edward Kane going for a pass on the inside of in that 21.
How about that? How impressive. Edward Kane doing so well here tonight. I love to see it. Up into the top 5 right now. Bruce with that hard charge early, not paying off here late. And I'm starting to wonder here, are these guys thinking about making it to lap 35? I mean, they're close already.
Yeah, they're pushing it to the limit, I feel, honestly, Dean. Like, oh, my God, wow. I really did not think that they could even go to lap number 30. They're literally stretching it. Well, okay, they're headed to lap 28, 29. I got a feeling they're going to have to pit by lap 35, honestly. Don't you think?
Well, I mean, if you can complete lap 35, you're good on one stop. I don't know. I mean, that seems like a stretch to me, but I mean, nobody blinking right now, so I gotta say, they're gonna do it. I mean, this would involve, lifting early, coasting through the corners to try and make this fuel mileage work. I'm a little, I really don't know what's going on. I mean, if you're gonna make a two-stop pit and you're just waiting this long, I just don't understand it, Wesley.
Hey, Dean, can we give a plug real quick to the Toad Man, Todd Gilly? He reached out to me on Facebook the other day, just wanted to give me a message and tell me he really enjoyed me being up in the booth with you. And I told him thank you so much. And the Red Fox Motorsports entry, there he is right there. He is currently in the 16th position in that Ford number 19 on the racetrack. And, he's in the back, but there's still a long way to go in this race.
Yes, sir. The Toad Man out here doing his thing in that Coutu glass. That's all your blown glass needs, your bongs, your one-hitters. The Coutu glass at Todd the Toad Man Gilly.
Toad Man, I love that name.
Yeah, we'll have to get a further story on that on Sunday to find out about the Toad Man. Sometimes, these stories, though, they're not meant for TV.
I heard that's right. Now, he's the president of the RGR Racing League, so that's why he reached out to me. Thank you, Todd, for sure. So I got to keep the boss man happy, right, Dean?
You better believe it.
Yeah.
Always got to keep the Toad Man happy. We're looking at Lance Ripke here. We're right behind him. TJ Rogers continuing to fight that machine as he drops from first to fourth. Kane right there right now. Kane doing a nice job of hugging the line. Behind him, Bruce into the wall hard. Wow. Bruce lost it in that corner. It went too high, kind of blew the whole corner and hit that wall pretty hard there on exit. Don't see a lot of damage, but now Jackson looking to make a move.
And Dean, Darren Bruce, when he hit the wall, I think, honestly, he was trying to lock up the car to get on the binders to possibly commit to come down pit road. It was just too late. He had overshot the pit entrance also.
That may be true. I mean, that's a great point. We're on lap 32 of 70. Jorge Leal, your leader. Pit stops were expected around lap 25, but these guys said, no, you don't know what you're talking about. We're going to stretch this thing to lap 35, so I don't know. Apparently they can do it here, Wesley. I'm in shock.
Work in the front straightaway. There's the number 9. Is that the 14? Yes, it is. Bryce Reiner and Team Connie Digital Sim Sports right there into that second spot. He was the Richmond winner last weekend, wasn't he, Dean?
I believe Reiner
he was
victorious.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been great all season, and we were talking to him, and we decided that maybe, just maybe, it's Bryce the Terminator Reiner. He was talking about how his decisions were all very calculated and methodical, and I just thought, wow, it sounds like you're a Terminator out there.
Kane, I believe is it Edward Kane? There he is. That is. You're exactly right. The Kraft macaroni colored car. You're exactly right. I made a comment about that the last week, if you remember, Dean, talking about that race car right there.
Made me hungry at the time. Yes, we got the macaroni car out here right behind that Mission 22 machine of Lance Ripke.
You a mac and cheese guy, Dean?
I'll be honest with you. No, I'm not.
I'm a mashed potato kind of man, right? I like mashed potatoes. I love mashed potatoes. I eat mashed potatoes like a bag of chips. Okay, I'm gonna lie to you. I gotta eat mashed potatoes and at least chicken 3-4 days a week.
I tell you, it reminds me of being a young man, and sometimes potatoes all you had. I mean, a nice good plate of potatoes is something else.
What is that old expression that the moms and dads used to say back in the world? Son, you need to get some beans and potatoes in you, right? Put some starch in your britches, as my daddy used to say.
Oh yeah, all kind. Put hair on your chest. We've heard it all. Ripka and Kane battling for third here on lap 34. TJ Rogers now in fifth. Looks like he's pretty solid in that position. He can't wait for new rubber, I'm telling you. And here we go. Greg Ratliff hits the pit road. So pit road opens up here, and it's going to be a flood here in a second. Paul K. Travis also coming in that Alive Church machine. So which one of our leaders is going to be first to come in here, Wesley?
Yes, sir. And, me and you were both repetitively both said so at the same time. So, because literally we are seeing finally pit stops, green flag pit stops happening. And that's something to think about, guys, right? I mean, we're literally going 35 laps into this race. Another thing, guys, is we're seeing pit road open. Dean, look at this massive cloud cover. It has got shady around this racetrack. That could also really change the handling on these race cars as we approach the halfway mark of this race at Indy.
Oh, it most certainly will. As everybody coming in, Leal's in, Ripka, Kane is in, Rogers comes in, Aber, Jackson, Bruce, all on pit road. Here comes Spear as well. So that's going to leave Reiner out on the track. He continues to run. Now, I don't expect him to do more than one lap here, but if there's fuel mileage concerns, getting an extra lap in could really help the way you drive the last half of the race. Jason Ratliff now takes over second position, and you got Claus Williams, the one we're kind of rooting for here in the 16. He has moved up into third here. Now, of course, he has to pit here, but this strategy could be big for him.
Yes, sir.
Leo comes off the pit road.
Yeah, yes, sir. There it is. Claus Williams, we just saw. There is the 51. Look at this. I mean, Dean, it looks like literally. Here's Reiner. Yeah, Bryce Reiner now giving up the lead. Reiner's on pit road. Team Connie entry. Here comes more cars pulling on the pit lane. Jason Ratliff. Now Claus Williams.
Yeah, all these guys,
pit road.
They got one extra lap in, and it doesn't seem like much, but if there is any fuel mileage concerns, they can do away with the early lift and all of that, so they can run a little faster here in run number 2. It's going to be highly interesting. Now, you remember, a couple of guys came in early. Now, they're going to be on 2 stoppers. That's Helm. Helm's going to assume the lead. The bonus of all this, Wesley, if a caution comes out any time in the next, say, 10 laps, Brian Helm's going to be your new race leader. I mean, he is your race leader.
You're exactly right. The other guy that pitted was now up to third. He pitted on lap 22. That's Jason Brantley. Jorge Leal in that Black Rifle Coffee Company machine. He's just in another league than anybody else right now. He has now came onto the pit lane just on lap 35. He's already in the second position, only 9 seconds back and gaining quickly on Brian Helm, the leader. Remember Brian Helm? We talked about them when they were battling at the 88, I believe, that car of, or is it Jackson? Or I'm sorry, no, my bad.
I think maybe it was Jackson he was
Yes, it was.
with?
Yes, sir, yeah. No, Paul K. Travis, the Alive Church car, when they had their little moment with one another. And then, of course, then we see Brian Helm now coming down pit lane, and he took advantage of the undercut, as we had mentioned, and now that Fox Shocks Toyota is now the new leader of the race. Different strategy, as you mentioned, because he's going to have to pit again. So is Brantley. So basically, he is, well, so if he, so it's 22 laps he pitted. So I'm saying about lap 50 or so, he would probably have to pit again.
Yeah, I mean, a little short of that, he might come in. But yeah, Brian, interesting strategy here. Of course, Brian, real life race car crew chief. You know, he knows his stuff, so he knows what he's doing out there. Maybe you want to get a little adjustment there on the machine, who knows. But right now, he's your race leader. 7.5 second lead to Jorge Leal, who's in second. You got Jason Brantley, another early pit stop guy, and, you know, he's come into third. So right now, I mean, this strategy looks fantastic by the 3 machine.
There it is, the number 3, Jason Brantley. There's his car. The East Coast Chevrolet now showing his opportunity to be up on the top of the podium here.
Another great sponsor, Wesley, East Coast Web Printers. I love seeing it out there. These guys rocking these paint jobs, and another beautiful paint job. I mean, I just love the ingenuity with the paints around here.
Helm, Leal, Brantley, Rogers, who led a majority of the start of the race, now back to fourth. And by the way, we can now let you know that everybody on the scoring pylon as they head towards the yard of bricks have now officially pitted at least one time or more as they come down to the pagoda here at the start-finish line.
One of the big stories developing might be Bryce Reiner. I mean, in his relation to Jorge Leal. Reiner is now 12.8 seconds behind Leal. Before the pit stops, he was about 1.5 back. So he lost 11.5 seconds between the pit stop and the extra couple laps that that he ran after Leal pitted. So wow, I mean, he's got a mountain to climb here.
Look at this awesome racing happening. That's now the 21 Edward Kane trying to battle with Bryce Reiner. Reiner on behind him. And look at this now, Rogers is now getting a battle with Edward Kane on the inside. He's trying to clear him, he can't.
Kane's doing a nice job here and there. He gets a big run. He's going to slide it underneath the 72. This could be tricky. The 72 shuts the door on him.
Remember, this race is 70 laps. We've already passed the halfway mark of this event. Brantley on pit road. Here he comes. Remember, I told you. Remember, we're set between 40 and 45. They'd have to come down pit lane again here. Here's the second pit stop because, remember, they're in a different sequence than everyone else is.
And Rachel Hunt calling it a night here. That's not our pit stall. So Rachel not agreeing with what's going on out here. She pulls it over. Helm. Now, still leading. Remember, he needs an extra pit stop, and Jorge Leal has already running him down. He is right there. The story of the night is Leal has opened up an 11-second gap back to TJ Rogers. It's unbelievable what the 51 has done.
And right now, Brian Helm still up in front, leading the way. 41 laps of 70 as we set our sights in on under 30 to go, 29 remaining. At the line, there's the third place man of Rogers, Kane, Reiner. They're all in a nice little click with one another. They're side by side now, or they're not side by side, they're nose to tail as they work back to the short chute in one.
Yeah, and it looks to me like they're content to just ride this out for a while and see who falters versus make aggressive moves. And that's kind of what Indy will do to you. These guys kind of in traffic, and they have to ride at TJ Rogers' pace. But Leal, it's all clear sailing for him. He can ride at his own pace. He's on cruise control. I mean, Helm's going to be no challenge on that old rubber once Leal gets there.
What a drive for that. There he is, Brian Helm, still in front. Nice, comfortably in the lead. Jorge Leal, the Black Rifle Coffee Company. Entry number 51 in that second position. We saw how good his car was. Remember, as I mentioned, he's cut the deficit at one time. It was 10 seconds, Dean. He's going now after Helm for the lead on lap number 42 to the back straightaway.
Yeah, Helm gonna roll over on this one. I mean, he's just gonna let him go, I think.
Easily.
Maybe
Easily.
not. I mean, Helm's fighting back. Helm says, hey, I don't care about your fresh rubber. I'll race you. Holy cow, but no contest there. The 51, just too much grip. He powers through. Put him back on the point. Jorge Leal, your points leader, your race leader as well.
Brian Helm sideways, and you saw him dirt tracking a moment ago off the corner out of 4. That shows you how used up the tires and the handling is on that 46. Nonetheless, he'll stay in that second spot right now. And we're working now our way back towards lap number 44 of the race. And Jorge Leal back to the lead. That's how good that 51 car's been all day here, Dean.
Yeah, Leal's been impressive. And this little group here, too, don't sleep on them. They've been knocking down the lead. They got a little fresher tires than Leal. So they've been knocking it off, maybe about a second down. But they need to do more. And I think we're at that point in the run where, you know, Reiner and Kane have got to start thinking about, is Rogers holding us up? I mean, Rogers pulling away a little bit. He says, I'm not holding anybody up.
Jorge Leal. Talk about momentum for the driver, that number 51. Remember, he won at Darlington 2 weeks ago. He didn't win the race at Richmond last week, Dean, but he was one of those guys that was right there in contention, no doubt about it. He led laps, by the way. He did. He led laps, but just at the end of the race, things changed, and it put him right there in a good spot. Here comes now that number 46, Brian Helm on pit road. He's in that different pit strategy. Brantley as well. Brantley put it at lap 40. He comes on pit lane at lap 44, Dean.
All right. So, Helm on pit road, his night, I mean, he needed a caution. That's what he really needed, is a well-timed caution. He didn't get it. Now, he'll have some rubber. He'll make up a few spots, but he is effectively out of the running. It's Leal with a 9.9 second lead over TJ Rogers, who's separated a little bit here. Kane has given up a spot to Reiner, so put Reiner back up to third, and he'll get up here now and start working on TJ Rogers.
Gotta love it. Leal, Rogers. There you see Reiner. There's Kane. At one time, Edward Kane's car was starting to rally and battle with those guys, and he fall back. Greg Ratliff, good solid run for him now, back in the top 5. He's in 6th behind those drivers.
Yeah, he's up 8 spots. Jason Jackson's moved up 6. And ahead of them, James Hebert, someone who's continually doing well these days, in the top 5, up 6 spots. What a run by the 25.
Yeah, what a run for Hebert, hey? I mean, he's got a good run there. Looking good for Spartan Racing. One of your friends of the North. As right now they work their way off of 4 to the front straightaway, down to the yard of bricks, across the line, heading into the home stretch of this race now, by the way. under 25 laps to go now. Here's the battle going on. Actually, correction, that's Jason Ratliff going at it with Ripka. And just as fast as it started, it fizzles out, and we're back single file again.
Yeah, these guys, they get their little runs, but it's so hard to maintain or make a move here at Indy. So you got to force your way down into the corner, almost dive bomb, and, people don't like that very much, Wesley.
Oh, yeah. But sometimes that's all you can do is make that daring move, that dive bomb down to the inside or the outside to make the run.
That's right. Jason Jackson all over the back of Greg Ratliff right here. He looks to the outside, trying to get a little bit of a run. Ratliff peels off, or no, he doesn't. He's doing your little serpentine there. He was awful loose, so put Jackson through. Jackson up 7 spots now into 6.
Boy. And how about Jason Jackson, Double J, up to now, cracking into the top 5 if he can get to the number 25 machine. Hebert's car in his sights. Look at that now. Here comes Reiner. Reiner has got a renewed vigor. He's going after Rogers. He's now in 2nd spot, still 10 seconds back to the leaders, though.
He was doing a great job. He got to the inside of Rogers. Couldn't hold the power down. Here's another run. He slings down to the bottom. Rogers trying to close the door. This is getting dangerous. And Rogers down to the bottom. Wow. Reiner hits the wall on the high side. I'm not sure, but it looks like both Kane and Reiner will come on through. Rogers slips back to 4th.
And look at this now, man. Your buddy from Canada, James Hebert. He is literally Hebert right there in the cat's whisker. If they make one wrong slip, he's going to capitalize and bounce on them like a coiled cobra. Right now, looking, watching, seeing if these guys 3 cars ahead make a slip, he could capitalize and take advantage of this as they work down that back straightaway.
No doubt about it. Don't sleep on Jackson. Jackson's still coming. Time winding down, though. I mean, Leal he's still up over 10-second lead. Jorge Leal is unbelievable right now. There's Reiner. He's starting to open up a little gap there between 2nd and 3rd. So Reiner trying to run down Leal. I mean, 10 seconds, Wesley. That's a tough ask in 20 laps.
Yes, sir. And you speaking of 10 seconds also, Dean, remember it was 10 seconds, the interval for Jorge Leal that he had on the driver of Brian Helm to run down to get back to the lead. That just shows you how good his car is. Not only was he 10 seconds down, he ran down Helm, took the lead. Remember, he did this before Helm came down on pit lane. Ran him down, and now he has over 10 seconds lead over Reiner and Kane, who are now second and third. Rogers as well. Those three cars in tow.
This is common here at Indy, Wesley. You get a driver out front who's very comfortable at the track, knows what he's doing out there, of course, but the cars behind can't understand. How is he still beating me? We're 20 laps into the run. I've been saving my stuff. How is he still faster? It's just so much easier out front, Wesley. The world opens up for you when you're out front.
That's right. Got all that clean air in front of you too, my friend. We always talk about it, that clean air.
Oh, it's big in these cars these days. Edward Kane in third. What a run by the 21. Trying to bring some mac and cheese up here to Wesley. Maybe he'll have some mashed potatoes too. Who knows? The
mac and cheese once in a while, but I'm a sweet I'm a mashed potatoes guy, though. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I just, I mean, I'll make it from scratch. I'll cut up the potatoes, or have somebody cut up the potatoes, or I'll make instant potatoes. It doesn't matter, right? Do we got a caution? The cars look like they're going really
that's
well.
Paul K. Travis. I don't know what's going on with Paul, but he's not comfortable out there, and he is just letting everybody go by. He wants no part of the racing line. So the 88, unfortunately, our sponsor car there in the live church, not agreeing with him. He's been so good lately, just not tonight. Indy, sometimes it can be a beast. If it's not agreeing with you, it's not agreeing with you.
Hello to Stevie Knight. Hello to Mike Freeman. Hello to, hell, it looks like that's the only people that have chatted in the chat box. Boy, Mike Freeman's very talkative. Thank you, buddy. Chatting. Very chatty.
Well, it's those cigars and shots that he keeps taking. We love it, though, Mike. I'll do a shot with you, brother. Raise one up.
Is he the one doing shots?
He is indeed. We're here in the Marjorie.
I'll do a shot with you. A shot of
Memorial 175.
I'll do a shot with you. A shot of Pepsi. I'm chugging one right now. There you go. All right. I just took a shot.
All right. Take a deep breath now. Don't stand up too quick or anything. Reiner in second here. He has knocked about a second off the lead here in the last few laps. It's definitely too little too late as Leal's still walking away. Kane in third. You got TJ Rogers. It's been a great night for TJ. Let's talk about him for a minute. He got the pole out here. He hasn't had a top three finish to my recollection yet since his return here to the league. But man, tonight, fourth place, Wesley. He's looked good.
And by the way, Brandon Sheffield chiming in, and he says Ed Kane's old car is an old Ricky Rudd throwback of the combos scheme. And yes, you remember combos? Kind of, like it's like a pizza rolls, fried pretzels type deal. As we see the Travis car on pit road again.
Yeah, that looks like a retirement.
Painted. Yeah, Nick Bierce painted that and did an awesome job. So Kane's car colors triggered your guys talking about taters. Okay. All right. Thank you, Michael and Brandon.
It doesn't take much to trigger a food discussion up in the booth, I'll tell you. So Brian Helm, looks like Brian Helm has retired from the race. Let's get a look at a replay here. One of our only crashes here tonight.
Yeah, and no caution, by the way.
Here we go. He's all alone on the track, and you can see there he's yawed out too much. Slow, lazy spin. Ooh, that's going to be painful. Right there, that is painful. A hard lick. He's done for the evening.
And here's the problem. Helm's car, when he lost it right there, the smoke is even clearing now. When he hit the wall, he stayed below the white line on the apron of the racetrack. And because of that reason, Dean, it did not trigger a yellow flag. That's the reason why the caution was not showed, because he's still out of the racing groove.
Yeah, there's definitely some things with triggering a caution out there. That was not going to do it. The only way he could do it is something that's inappropriate, and that is stopping up on the track and waiting for a caution. Right. But I think they have like a sensor on other cars as well, like picture a big circle around the car that extends out. That car has to come within range of the wrecked car to trigger a caution, as well as what you're talking about. So there's a few things involved with that, and places like this, or Darlington comes to mind. There's just never a caution. Guys are always washing down below the white line, Wesley. Here comes Jason Spear onto pit road. So the 83 machine here with 15 to go comes in, and I don't know. I think guys have maybe had their fill here, some of them, of this Indy. It's a grind out here.
Wow. Jorge Leal still in the lead. By the way, though, Bryce Reiner has cut the interval to 9 seconds. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but remember one time he had a 10-second lead, so it is kind of shrinking. Now 1.5 seconds. He's cut down the deficit, but man, this race is Jorge Leal's to lose. What a phenomenal job. Here's something to think about too, man, as you close into the end of the season, Dean. You look at what he did at Darlington, because I saw the highlights to prepare for the broadcast of last week at Richmond. You look at how good he ran Richmond. Look at how good he's doing tonight here. Here's something to think about. 3 totally different racetracks, and he's literally able to adapt, hit the right setup, and be competitive in this RGR Esports League.
Yeah, and something else to consider is the championship, right? Bryce Reiner has finished, I'm just going to guess because I'm not exactly sure, but he's won, he's finished second, and he's finished third, and he's lost ground. I mean, how frustrating is that? I mean, Leal has been that good, where you have 3 great finishes, and you look up and you lost a point. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, doing a really great job now as these laps continue to tick away.
How about Jason Ratliff, our big mover on the night, or one of them, up 10 spots in the 55. So he's had himself another great evening, and I just love what I'm seeing from him lately. Jason Jackson behind him, he's up 6 spots. You got Greg Ratliff, he's picked up 5. That brings us down to Labosco in the 01 Hardee's machine. Maybe you got a little bit of history on the Hardee's machine for us, Wesley.
Yeah, man. I mean, I have the Hardee's car. That's a throwback, of course, of, Mr. Cale Yarborough. Obviously, one of the greats of NASCAR. Beautiful looking race car there.
It really is. Good to see Barron having a nice night. That one 12th, up 11 spots. You go back, you got the Toad Man. He's in 13th. He's picked up 6. Dibble bringing the McDonald's drive-through machine to us. I love it. I want a burger right now. George Dibble up 10 spots into 14th. And these, you know what this is? These guys in this section, I mean, I don't want to really put this on them, but these are your patient drivers. They're not going to get themselves in any trouble whatsoever. And look how many spots they pick up this way. 10, 11, 8, 6. I mean, it's massive, Wesley. It's a huge part of racing.
Yeah, what a solid run right now as we watch him working down the front stretch. Remember, here comes that cloud cover again. Remember, we mentioned right before green flag pit stops, when they came down on pit lane, that the cloud cover was there. That was around lap 35. Now we're hitting lap number 60, and then we hit a dozen laps to go. 12 remaining now. Here comes the cloud cover again. The sun's poking back out, but the cloud cover is settling in. This could really change the settling on this race here, Dean.
Well, the thing is, the track is so huge that it could be cloud on one side and sun on the other. I mean, that's how big a track this is. Heck, it could rain on one half of the track. It's unbelievable how big this place is.
Mike Freeman, to answer your question, yes, Cale Yarborough did drive a Buick back in the day. Yes, he did. but I guess they don't have Buicks on iRacing. So
No, you need a pretty good fake paint job to get a Buick
Right.
out here.
yeah, exactly.
Jason Ratliff still riding in 6th behind A-Bear. Behind him, good little battle between Jackson and Ripka. That's a battle for 7th there. And I kind of thought it'd be Ripka's night here tonight, but it just hasn't been. He's down 3 spots. He still looks good. He's in the top 10, but he's going to be a little disappointed here this evening. And of course, Claus Williams, let's focus in on that 16 machine, the Ford Performance car. He is now up to 9th, up 3 spots.
Hey, by the way, if you'd like to know more about the RGR Racing League, that's the, of course, Real Good Racing League. Thanks to all of them for letting us be here tonight on Wind Tunnel TV. Hit Facebook, hit RGR Racing League, a live church on Facebook, and also Wind Tunnel TV. Find all the details of all of the cool things with my buddy, Mr. Dean Doucette and company on Wind Tunnel Television. And Dean, I know that this will wrap up my 4th broadcast in the last month, being able to work with you, my friend, and it's been fun. You guys are top professionals, and hopefully we'll continue to do this down the road. And just a good league, good group of people you got with RGR and Wind Tunnel TV.
Oh, we appreciate it, Wesley. Definitely love working with RGR, the Toad Man, of course. As we look at the gap, you can see it here from the blimp cam. There's Leal. There's Reiner. I mean, it is enormous. There's Kane in 3rd. Rogers 4th. A-Bear starting to creep up on Rogers.
Yeah.
He's got the time. Can he get up here? 9 to go.
Yeah, we're down into the single digits of this race now. Unbelievably, as they work their way into the short chute, into turn number 3 and 4, coming back to the start-finish line at the Yard of Bricks. Dean, caution-free. I don't want to jinx anything in any way. I don't want anybody to say, darn you, Wesley. But, man, I just can't believe these guys were able to work around this racetrack and make this race go by so quickly. Caution-free. Here's something to think about with under 10 to go, 9 to go now. We've only been an hour into this race, and we're literally at the home stretch of it.
Oh, absolutely. This is par for the course here at RGR Racing. I mean, there's a saying in football, the standard is the standard. And the standard that they have set here is to go caution-free. That's the standard. So,
that's awesome.
these guys do it week in, week out. Of course, we go to some tracks, you get a couple of cautions here and there. But the days, Wesley, to call on something, the days of a 32-car race, caution races, they don't happen here.
Me. It was a nightmare. Michael Freeman says Wesley is good at this, and I like his accent. Well, thank you. I'm not from Canada.
Well, Wesley, Mike, is quite an accomplished broadcaster. Why don't you run down some of the things that you cover, Wesley? I know you do some basketball, you do other live events.
Oh yeah, man! I do obviously NASCAR when I can. I do ARCA. I do the stuff with Racing America, Flow Racing for broadcasts. I announce with Wake County Speedway, Caraway Speedway, Carteret Speedway, Dillon Speedway, the Voice of the Dirt Car Racing Modified Mafia Tour. We travel all over the country. It'll be my 3rd year with them this year. Matter of fact, we're getting close to Canada this year at State Line Speedway in New York, if you know where that's at. Yeah, man, I've been so blessed, Dean. I've done this for 29 years, man, and obviously as much heart and passion I put into real life, I put the same thing in working with you guys doing an iRacing broadcast, which is what you see is what you get.
Well, we certainly appreciate it. Glad you got those out. I mean, it's a laundry list there.
It is.
You're still a very busy man, Wesley. I appreciate you coming in, taking some time to do some RGR racing here at Wind Tunnel TV. Of course, tonight it's the Marjorie Coutu Memorial 175, and our hearts go out to the friends and family of Claus Williams and Marjorie Bean, as she was known. Happy to put on this affair in her honor.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. And I'm sure that the entire family and even Miss Bean would want everybody to press on. And obviously, Claus Williams, you're in our thoughts and prayers as well. And I know the biggest thing sometimes is just to get back to what you do, right? And I know we're at the finish of this race, closing in on 5 to go coming up here, Dean, but honestly, when you have tragedy happen in your life, sometimes it's good to go back to what you do, to what you're used to doing, your routine. And it's a diversion. It's a diversion, and even if it takes a couple of hours off of thinking about a loved one or a passing or the hurt, I'm glad that we were able to do it for the family. For sure.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And, in general, there's a lot of things going on in the real world. We come here to enjoy racing, to enjoy something we don't have to think about as much. As you see A-Bear putting it to the 72 of Rogers. I mean, it's the great escape, Wesley, and I love it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is, man. And, I say the same thing as well. When I put that headset on or I grab a microphone and I start doing my job, whether virtual or reality, man, I don't think about the bills. I don't think about the drama, anything going on in my life that's a negative thing, whatever. I focus on the mission at hand and do the best job that I can. It's like the good friend, colleague, Alan Bestwick used to always say, you're only as good as your last broadcast. And to be able to get knowledge and talk with him, work with him when I announced for the SRX back in the day as well, before that went under, I had a lot of fun times working with him. But yeah, dude, this iRacing, the same thing. For these guys that get in these iRacing rigs, no, they're not real cars. No, it's not real life. But for these guys right now with these last 10 miles to go in this race, they're going to race their hearts out like it's their opportunity to run in here at the Indy 500. This is their moment right here, watching these guys race around this place. And can anybody run down Jorge Leal? That's the question. As now we see that 25 of A-Bear running down Rogers as they go to the inside into 3.
Yes, sir, the 25, he's been working on it. He finally makes his move. He'll complete the pass on TJ Rogers, so put A-Bear up to 4th position. Right behind them, Jason Ratliff right there, along with Jason Jackson. This thing far from over for these guys.
And did you see the crossover move? And now they're dirt tracking one another from the inside to the outside, the crossover move. From the outside to the bottom, and now something happened to Rogers. He's free falling like the lyrics to the Tom Petty song in the turn 1. Look at this now. Reiner to the second. Edward Kane clears by all these guys on the back straightaway.
Man, Rogers not only dropped by that group, but he let Ripka by as well.
Sure did.
Now he's got Claus Williams on him. We got ourselves a race back here, anywhere from 4th through to 8th or 9th. That's Claus Williams in 9th. These guys racing their heart out. Some of us, Rogers, to touch on what you were saying, Wesley, some of us can't afford a real race car. This is the closest we'll ever get. We take it very seriously.
Right. You're exactly right. But at the end of the day, remember, it is simulation. Don't, all you got to do is hit that reset button, start over. Start over. There's always another iRacing. There's always another league like RGR Racing League. They come to the line. 3 laps to go now. Closing in on the finish to this one. It's now down to 2 to go. 5 miles remain. Jorge Leal, he has a 7-second lead. Reiner and Kane and A-Bear have ran down these guys, but they ran down the leader, Dean, but it's just not enough time. Jorge Leal, can he stretch this to 1 pit stop, by the way? That's something to think about.
Well,
35 laps, that's all he's got to do here.
You're not wrong. Let's check in on our leader. Maybe we'll quickly go on board here as he's coming by to take the white flag here in the Marjorie Coutu Memorial 175. I think he's still good. It doesn't look like he's doing anything crazy like lifting or cutting that engine. So he's going to be all right. Reiner, 6.5 seconds back, and then Kane, another 4.5 back, and then this big battle here. You got A-Bear trying to hold off Jason Ratliff.
Yeah, I love it. Look at this happening on the short chute of the racetrack in turn number 2 now as they hit their way to the back straightaway. Now heading to turn number 3 to the west end of the speedway is Jorge Leal as the rest of the leaders work their way, working off of that final short chute. He is looking for the checkered flag, Dean Doucette. 2 wins in 3 weeks as he works off turn 4 at Indy.
Yes, sir. The 51 Jorge Leal gonna win and extend his points lead. He cycles down to the pit wall there, waving to everybody. A great job by him. There goes Reiner for second. Kane will be third. Here comes that big battle. Ratliff with a late charge, looking for fourth. He can't do it. It's A-Bears. Ratliff will get fifth. Jason Jackson sixth. Ripka Williams, TJ Rogers, and Greg Ratliff, your top 10 finishers.
And I'd love to hear from our audience. Thanks for those that are watching on Wind Tunnel TV. Time of race, 1 hour and 7 minutes. Caution free. 70 laps, 175 miles, caution free. But Dean Doucette, it had everything, dude. We had the strategy, we had the multiple green flag pit stops, we had different sequences of pit position when some guys went for the undercut and short pitted on others. We saw literally great racing, good intense battles. Even though it was caution free, it was still a good show here for the Marjorie Bean Coutu Memorial at Indianapolis for the RGR Alive Church Xfinity Series.
Yeah, great job, and we're highlighting someone here, Edward Kane. I thought did a great job. His best finish, I believe, ever. So Edward Kane, he might have slipped in a Talladega or a Daytona race, but this, out here, driving lap after lap to 21, what a job, finishing third. We'll get a chance to talk to him right now. We go back to Leal here. I'm sure he's about to do something for us here, Wesley.
We're getting ready to burn it down. Yeah. Have a cup of coffee on me. Have a drink on me. Have a cup of coffee on me. Right there at that Black Rifle Coffee Company Chevrolet number 51. Old Glory all over the race car. He's going to race it. He's going to celebrate in reverse. Is this what he's going to do?
I thought he could do a total Polish victory lap, but he's just setting up the old dog walker there.
Yes,
he's going to walk her down a bit. Great job by George. Let's go ahead and take a commercial break. We'll come back. We'll get some race interviews, including our race winner, Jorge Leal. All right, back here at Indianapolis for the Marjorie Coutu Memorial 175. Jorge Leal, your race winner. I mean, Wesley, we just watched a commercial on rain, by the way. Maybe we'll get to see rain on one of these ovals one of these days.
You know what? I found myself yesterday, as a matter of fact, chiming in to the Rolex 24, the iRacing 24 at Daytona, and I saw where they got that feature where they finally got it working, where it was raining and they had the wipers on, and there was the hydroplane in driving with the wind, the rain puddles, and that was pretty cool. So we need to do something like that in the future, for sure.
Absolutely. Love to see it. I mean, I have heard of it raining in these oval races, but just a little bit here and there. That would be interesting to see how that works out. We go back to this race here, our finishing order. We got some others. Bruce in 11th. 12th was Labosco, Dibble and Gilly, 13th and 14th. Brantley, Buskirk, Spear, Helm, Travis around the top 20. Nobody really had any problems tonight. I didn't see too many wrecks or anything. Olsen retired early, though, as did Connolly and Evans and Baris. Hunt we've seen pull over. So we've seen Travis late have some problems. So there was a few out there, perhaps touching that wall a little bit unfriendly like, Wesley.
Yeah, rest of the rundown there, of course. Looking at the rest of these guys from the top 10, Darren Bruce with a solid run. He got in the wall. He fell back, obviously. Still in the lead lap, though. Baron Labosco had a good, solid run in 11th and 12th. George Dibble. Todd Gilly, the Toad Man, stays on the lead lap for Red Fox and RGR. He'll finish in the top 15, along with Jason Brantley. He's the driver, along with, obviously, Mr. Brian Helm, that did the pit strategy of pitting twice on the short chute. But when it's all said and done, the rest of the finishing order finds, of course, Corey Buskirk, Jason Spear, Brian Helm. He laid some laps there before the end of the race, and then he pitted and just kind of parked it. Paul K. Travis in the Alive Church entry. He struggled after having some great battles early in the top 20. Rachel Hunt retired. Nick Bierce. Or Bars, I'm sorry, Barisi, Graham Connolly, Reggie Evans Jr., Scott Ollison, and Bernard Person. Man, my buddy for Screaming Eagle, the number 8, wasn't here tonight. But it was good to see him at least try to attempt to make the race. But then when it was all said and done, 1 hour, 6 minutes, 70 laps, caution free. What a show here, Dean. And I was going to say jokingly that if Jorge Leal was going to make a Polish victory lap in reverse on a 2.5-mile racetrack, Dean, we could have went to commercial break and played probably 5 commercials and still would have been waiting for him to get on the other side.
Would have been interesting, let me tell you. Well, I'll tell you another thing that's interesting. We bring in our third place finisher, Mr. Edward Kane in the 21. How about it, Edward? Congratulations, man.
So this is how the other half lives. It's nice to talk to you boys finally.
Indeed, Edward. You get up here to the booth. I mean, we've been waiting for you. We've been seeing you ascend lately. What's been the key to getting you up here now in the top 3?
Well, I mean, listen, I am, my full disclosure, the B car is not my best car, but I'm pretty good in Indianapolis, and just the key to Indianapolis is just trying to be smooth and just try and keep your tires under you, and that's all I tried to do all night. I'm not going to pretend I'm as good as George or Bryce, and I wasn't trying to really race anyone. It's just kind of racing your race car and just trying to keep up with the track and just trying not to do anything crazy, and the other night worked out, and I finished 3rd.
Yeah, and let me ask you also about fuel mileage, Edward, because it didn't seem to be a concern for you guys. I had no idea you'd be able to do 35 laps. Was it close at all?
No, I mean, listen, before the green flag, we were clutching it a little bit or whatever, but I mean, I probably could have made it even another lap if I really pushed it, but maybe with the exception of the leader, if they had no draft, maybe they were touching it a little bit, but I don't think anyone was really concerned about not making it on fuel, to be honest with you.
All right, let's turn it to Wesley here. Wesley, what you got for Edward?
I'll tell you what, Edward, it's finally be able to chat with you as well, my friends, to the Village Mutual. And I love the race car. I love the throwback. And obviously, were you hoping for that a late race caution? I know we didn't get one, but do you feel like that car was really, really getting good at the end of the race? Do you think you could have made a run to the win?
Oh, absolutely not. No, I'm thrilled that this thing went green and we just ended and I finished 3rd, because if we would have had a green-white checker with tires, no doubt there would have been chaos. I'm not the world's fastest one-lapper, certainly not Indianapolis. This car could be a little touchy on restarts. I am thrilled to just take my 3rd and go home.
All right. Well, it was awesome, Edward. We love your car. We love your sponsorship around here. And we love your racing, man. I'm thrilled to see you up in 3rd place. Congrats. We'll turn the mic over to you, brother. Anybody you want to shout out or thank?
Well, I first got to thank, the Wind Tunnel guys. You guys do an awesome broadcast. And even on weeks where I'm not racing, I always make sure to watch you guys do what you do. You do a great job. Also, Todd and the gang at RGR. I mean, great league, been here a few months and just love how everything's run and just a great group of guys. Of course, got to thank my GDR guys. Derek wasn't here tonight. Nick had a new PC, so I think he had some PC issues, which caused him to go into the pits there. Jason, for once, finished behind me, so I'll take that. And Brandon didn't show up, so, that's how I got 3rd, and I'm not going to fight him for once.
All right, Wesley, that is our 3rd place finisher, Mr. Edward Kane. I believe you got Bryce Reiner with you.
I do. I think we've chatted with Bryce Reiner many times in the most recent weeks. And Bryce, another solid run. It wasn't a victory like Darlington or a solid finish at Richmond, but man, there's nothing wrong with 2nd. And I think it's consistency, right? Especially going down to the end of the season to make a run to a championship.
Yeah, thank you, Wesley. Consistency is key, but not when the guy that's leading the points is winning some of the races that I don't win, which that's okay. We'll keep fighting, but yeah, it's always tough.
Yeah, well, we talked about it here, Bryce. I mean, what do you have? A win, a 2nd and a 3rd or something like that, and you've lost a point or 2 in the championship? I mean, it's got to be frustrating, man. I mean, what are you thinking the rest of the way? I mean, just more of the same and hope for some better luck or bad luck for George, maybe?
Yes, yeah, for sure. I screwed myself tonight severely. First stint, I was completely saving gas and tire to go an extra lap, to have an extra lap towards the end of the race so I didn't have to fuel save, because I figured that's what George was doing towards that end of the race. Just completely blew my pit stop. and too far to the left, and just everything went wayward. So I wasn't able to battle George and push him so that he would run out of gas. But all in all, still a great race, and glad to bring home a P2.
Man, Bryce, if I had $1 for every time I blew my pit stall here at Indy, that concrete surface there on the pit road, you will slide right through. I've done it so many times. I mean, it's heartbreak. We were wondering how he got that big a lead on you. We've heard it now. It's unfortunate, but, we keep looking ahead. I mean, I imagine you're happy with second, and, you didn't really do yourself too much harm here tonight, and you got to keep chasing, right?
Yes, indeed. Always just gotta keep getting after it and keep going.
All right, Bryce. Well, you've been great here as of late. Another great finish. And we turn it over to you, brother. Any sponsors or people you want to shout out, you go right ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys up in the booth. Wesley, it's good to have you out here again. Dean, as always, Todd, George, everyone that runs the RGR League each and every week. It's great to be a part of. I want to give a shout out to Martin PC, Team Conti, Digital Sim Sports, and my teammates for the Daytona 24. We brought home a P2 finish in our split, and it was one hell of a race, and led some laps, had some great battles, and yeah, stuck it out and finished it very, very well. So I'm happy about that.
All right. Well, congrats on the 24 as well. Tonight, a second place finisher. We turn our attention now to our race winner, the 51, Jorge Leal. Congratulations, George.
Thank you, Dean. Appreciate it.
I mean, wow, right? You get out there on this track, you had to be patient early. Maybe let's start there. TJ Rogers has the point. He's doing a nice job. He's opened up a bit. I know you're a long run guy, but we're getting pretty late in the run here, and he's still leading. Were you getting concerned?
Yeah, I kind of expected him to continue pulling away. I think it was a little unfortunate to get some damage on the grid. I think we had a little internet issues going on, but he was really fast in practice and obviously qualifying. And I think if he would have had a clean car, he may have been real tough to beat. But Darren started putting a little pressure on me, and I had to check up real bad one time. I almost ran in the back of TJ. So I just kind of sat in there behind Darren and waited for my opportunity and just started moving forward slowly and thought we were going to have a race there with Bryce. He was right on my tail the whole time, and I guess he had a little issues with his pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, he did, and it's pretty common here at Indy. Tell us a little bit about your pit stop, George. Do you prepare for this concrete surface on pit road, or is it nothing to you?
I think I generally leave a little bit on the table coming into my pit box. I didn't really get a lot of pit practice on this today. I was rushing home from work late, but yeah, I came in a little easy, just make sure I hit my marks and stuff, and I probably could gain some time there just on a general basis. But yeah, I took it easy.
All right, Wesley, what you got for George?
Well, George, congratulations on another win. Obviously, Bryce kind of gave his thoughts on the subject. I want to get yours as well. The battle towards the championship between you two, do you feel like it's going to come down to you two guys? And what's it going to take at the end to be the champion, George? Congrats on the win at Indy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Bryce is a fierce competitor. He's really tough week in and week out. I'm not sure what the gap is now. I think he started off in the hole. I think he had a real bad race the first week or first race of the season. So I just have to keep putting these top threes, top fives together as best I can. I really like running these Xfinity cars and have a couple good tracks coming up. I'm not so good at Charlotte, but I think we have Iowa and Homestead. So looking forward to those. And like I said, just keep it clean.
All right, George. Well, you've been keeping it clean. You've been keeping it out front. You extend your lead, but Reiner still right there. Can't wait to see where this goes. Congrats on this victory here this evening, and we'll turn it over to you, brother.
Yeah, thank you guys for doing the broadcast. Love going back and watching them. Thanks to everybody at RGR for putting this league on, and thank you to Mike and Shannon Brown for their sponsorship and keeping us on WTTV. And Your Lions really let me down. I hate the Redskins.
Well, someone had to take a jab.
Oh,
George
wow.
does. Only the winners feel bold enough to say something about my Lions. But yeah, they let a lot of people down, including me, George. But you didn't let anybody down.
I'm glad the Bills beat the Ravens. How about that?
There you go.
Bills.
Okay, George. All right, that's your race winner, the 51, George Leal. Another great event and, good interviews there. George and Bryce, I mean, these guys going to keep slugging it out, aren't they, Wesley?
It looks like it's seriously going to become a battle between the Leal and Reiner show, and I think you guys have got a front row seat the rest of the way to find out what happens with the RGR iRacing League Alive Church Xfinity Series. And man, these tracks are so different. We went from Richmond, from Darlington the week before to Indy, and you see that these are the two Pied Pipers, if you will, right? I mean, they're going to go at it. They're going to battle. It's going to come down to who doesn't make a mistake. You heard the disappointment in Bryce's voice. He said, man, I made a mistake. That pit penalty cost me. That delay on pit road cost me. I think it changed the outcome of the race. And George Leal took advantage of it. And remember, in closing, Dean, as you're going towards the home stretch of running towards a championship, reality or virtual, you've got to be flawless. There cannot be any mistakes made, because in the postseason or at the end of the year, it can cost you tremendously. And I think that's what happened to our buddy tonight here at Virtual Indy. Congrats to George Leal. Thank you so much, my friend. I think you're purposely bringing the cold air from London, Ontario, Canada, down to the Carolinas where I live, because it's been cold the last couple of weeks when I'm working with you.
I made a phone call. I said, give him a little taste.
But, man, in all seriousness, though, Dean, we've worked with each other in the past with Nazareth, and so glad that finally I've been able to work with you a quad amount of times here on Wind Tunnel TV. Thanks to the Toad man, Todd Williams, for inviting me to call RGR with you, sir, and hopefully we'll do it many more times down the road. But it was a fun time being able to work with you guys. Thanks to the regular guy for opening up his chair, letting me fill in, and I'm going to try to pop in and see what happens this battle between Reiner and Leal for the championship. It's going to be good the last 3 or 4 weeks.
It's going to be great. Of course, we have all the coverage of it every Sunday, 9-10 p.m. It's the Alive Church Xfinity Series. Live fully alive. That's right here on Wind Tunnel TV. And, of course, it's RGR Racing. We can't wait to get to it. But for myself, Dean Doucette, for Mr. Wesley Outland, that's going to wrap it up from Indianapolis. And we'll see you right here next time on Wind Tunnel TV.